The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Welcome back to another glorious episode of Probably a Podcast. And you know what? We have your favorite guest and mine, Anna Grace Newell, on the
I am Anna Grace Newell still.
Are you?
Yeah. I was like, what? Oh,
I was like, wait.
No,
you're not changing your last name.
I'm not changing my last name. Honestly, if I had gotten married before I was 30, I probably would have. But I told everyone, I actually did a social media class the other day, and I was like, I have spent thousands.
Oh, yeah, true.
Thousands.
Branding yourself.
Branding Newell, AnnaGraceNewell.com. Support at Anna Grace Newell is all of our customer service emails. Everything is Newell. And I actually thought Austin was going to be like, I want you to change your name. But he was the one that was like, this is going to be way too much money.
He's a secure king, though.
He is.
I'll tell you something. If someone told me when you got married, you do have to drop the probably, I'd be like, it's just simply so a part of my brand. I can't. I understand the branding side of things. There have been many times where I wish I could drop probably because I'm like, Jesus. It's just, I can't, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I could have just been Anna Grace Silvoy, but then it would just have been.
It's a gorgeous name.
Thank you.
And by the way, we would be remiss without saying, Boof Squad back again. Boof Squad back again. And if you had come on this podcast a mere, I don't know, 22 days ago, we could have sang, Snow is forever, snow around the world. Whenever I posted that it was snowing here, I got so many messages. Snow's forever. Snow's forever. Oh,
that is like my favorite. I would say a talent of mine is just making up a song off the cuff. I told you about my palm tree.
You didn't make that up. That is not your song.
What is the actual?
I don't remember, but everyone was like plagiarized.
Yeah, they're like 100% no. Okay, let me say. I will take a song and mold it to whatever's happening in my life.
Okay. What is this song? It's like
you know,
something around the world.
It was an Mary Kate and Ashley movie.
Yeah,
remember, right?
I don't know.
Like,
but like when I'm actually dying because when we posted that and I was like, she just made up this song. She's so funny. And everyone messaged me and said, that is not her song.
Sometimes I really do worry because like genuinely in my head, I wasn't sure if I made that up or if I had heard it before. And that's concerning. And I also told you too that if I do get canceled, Courtney saw this on my close friends. I don't know if you did. I think you were off the grid that day, but I literally was like, if I get canceled, one, it'd be something like me accidentally plagiarizing Snow is Forever.
Right.
Or I was genuinely convinced. I said this publicly that I looked like bukkake because a little boy in my neighborhood told me that it meant bat poop when I was like 10. I've been saying that.
What is bukkake?
I've been saying that word. How old am I? 32 for 22 years. Just casually.
I was like, I've heard that word a million times, but I must have heard it from you. That's bukkake.
It's I think I've been saying bukkake. It's like how it went rogue with boof, and they're like, that's actually smuggling on drugs.
We were like, we know.
Bukkake is like where like males circle her up and on someone's face. No, I've been using it as like the
as a fucking jerk circle.
Yes. And
circle
I
jerk?
had no idea.
Bukkake is a circle jerk?
I'm almost positive. Courtney, will you Google it?
Courtney's Google. She's literally going to get thrown in jail. No, like, they're going to investigate her. Like, they're going to be like...
Yeah. So anyways, it would be me accidentally plagiarizing or me just saying something obscene.
Now that I think about it, I actually think Tinksgate 2017 is your fault. I think I thought the box theory was yours. I think you said it was your box theory.
No, I didn't.
I'm kidding.
No, I didn't. No, don't listen to her. She's like, actually, this is a good scapegoat.
Now that I think about it, I need to tell Tinks that that you said it was your theory.
Hey, in my defense, I didn't have a podcast then, so it wasn't me.
Fair. Oh my God.
My podcast came around in 2021, so
fair. Could have been me. Tinkskate. I'm like, that was actually Anna Grace. No, okay. So we actually haven't had Anna Grace on the podcast for a minute. We did do a recap of everyone's favorite episode, Trip of a Lifetime.
R.I.P.
That was like giant rip. If you haven't listened to that episode, we've had people tell us it actually got through grieving times. People died.
The darkest depression of their life.
People died in their family and they said, this is what got me through.
And I want you guys to literally listen and turn your ears on for this episode because I called Shannon the day after my wedding and I said, Shannon, what happened this weekend was on the same caliber and scale of Trip of a Lifetime. I may never laugh again, but if I do, I hope that I can share this on your podcast one day and spread joy into someone else's life. I hope I can pull you out of the depths of depression. Did I not say that? On my honeymoon, I went on a mini moon. I called Shannon. I'm like, I'll never speak of this on my podcast because I wouldn't do that to the Dancing Unicorns.
Yeah. Anna Grace has a very different podcast than me, and it's gorgeous and glorious and informational and educational and spiritual, and it's honestly healing and in a very different way that this podcast
My
is
podcast
healing.
is education based, so it just wouldn't make sense.
And I don't think you need that story retold on your forum just because it was so traumatizing. But I do think in this world, and I am sorry to say this, that you and I both suffer the same fate, that I do think that the universe and God give us trauma to share.
Oh, 100%.
We are given these things. They're bestowed upon us, and we somehow take them and we make them laughable. Like Trip of a Lifetime. You guys don't understand. Y'all laugh at that podcast so much, which I do think this episode with this wedding story is going to kind of turn into a, version of Trip of a Lifetime. But you don't understand. Trip of a Lifetime was really, really traumatizing for Anna Grace. Like
No, I was in therapy, sweating.
Was like not okay after it, but we somehow made it like the funniest story.
I auto-corrected so hard. I was sober, not California sober, not a little weed, not a little mushrooms. I mean, I was sober for 2 years straight after that.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, actually, I still am, but I might have a glass of champagne if I'm feeling like it's my wedding night and crazy.
Right.
Again, didn't drink on my wedding day, but that's the thing. Like, it swung me so hard.
Yeah.
I would be in therapy. My therapist would ask me questions about, like, do you want to talk about it? My palms would start to sweat.
Yeah.
Thinking about how fucked up I was on those mushrooms.
Yeah.
And also, I want you guys to know, mushrooms can be a really beautiful journey. So, like, don't let my experience taint you.
I like mushrooms.
I took a mushroom that looked like someone picked out of the ground and put it in my mouth. Do you know how dumb that is?
Yeah. And do you know that when we were in South Africa, there were people around us doing mushrooms, and there was this girl that said she'd never done them before, and she was with this guy, and he had a cap and a stem, and the way I almost threw my body in front of her. I was like, no! And she was like, wait, what? And I was like, she's like, have you done these? Are you tripping? And I was like, no. But like, I just want to let you know, y'all are about to do a cap and a stem. I'm not sure if you should do a cap and a stem. And she was like, well, how much are you supposed to do? I go, I don't know the answer to that either. But I had a friend who just had like, I just don't think you, and she was like a tiny little girl. I was like, I just don't know if you should be doing a cap and a stem. She did it.
You might float away into the abyss.
She actually felt fine. I asked her later on.
But they do.
They were dehydrated though, dried ones.
These were dried too. I mean, it was like a raw mushroom.
Oh, I thought you just...
I just think my body said, you know what?
No.
But again, that's why I have an educational podcast, because I can tell you guys these things, and hopefully you'll have a warning, because I have another story to tell you where I did something really dumb, but we'll get to later. But
should we start with the wedding story?
I think so, because on my podcast, this is my strategy. You and Shannon and I are going to give the raw, dirty details of what actually happened, like the whole wedding weekend. And then on my podcast, I'm going to give what I like to call like the solutions, because what I've learned when I shared this is like a universal experience of people acting the fuck up at weddings. And no one prepared me for that. I just want to say, everyone was like, just so you know, on your wedding day, things will go wrong. And I was like, listen, I don't care. I don't care if the food gets messed up. Like, I did not care.
Yeah.
I did not care what went wrong. I was like, I did not care. No one prepared me for the absolute monstrosity behavior out of people you never expected.
Let me tell you, if I would have invited my extended family, shit would have got bad.
And that's what we thought. Like, we thought out of everyone, you guys know I have, like, my mom has 10 siblings. I have 40 cousins. We thought for sure it was going to be one of ours.
Your parents' side of the family, your mom's side of the family is glorious, and I love them, but like, they are loose cannons.
They're wild
and
as
they
hell.
were very well behaved and fun.
Couldn't have been on like a better behavior. And again, if this had been one of my family members, we would have shut this shit down, but it wasn't, because, anyways, all right, we'll about to unpack it.
Let's get into the fact that Anna Grace and I, as you guys know, we got married. Well, we got engaged 2 weeks apart. We got married 3 weeks apart. We basically, Anna Grace is a gem of this. Well, we both were very cognizant of each other during like bachelorette planning, and because we had a lot of the same friends going to a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
We were cognizant of dates. Like, I was like, we have picked, September 21st, but just FYI, it's out of the country. And she was like, we had known at this point, Anna Grace had her wedding at the beautiful at her childhood home in Memphis. So it was gorgeous. But we just were like, okay, what date works? So she basically planned her wedding not around me, but made sure that the date made sense. Like, I would be back from the honeymoon. It was just really sweet of you to actually take that into account, when you could have been like, it's my wedding, I don't give a fuck. But like, I would never really kind. Like so anyways, about 3.5 weeks later, it was a really beautiful thing. Like, you can't picture, it must feel the same way when you get pregnant with your best friends. Like, it was just such a beautiful thing to be getting married in the same season, like very close same season. If you actually like your friend, I imagine if it's someone that you're like close to but not super close to, you would want to fucking kill her, because that's just like annoying. But because we were actually best friends, it was like such a fun, beautiful time. Like, we went dress shopping together, we did this, and I was like, I want to be friends. Like it was like so much fun.
Well, and we really had like a sense of camaraderie because like towards the end, I will say a year of planning was simply too long. Like towards the end, we were both running out of steam being like, hype me up, tell me.
No, I was like, I should have gotten knocked up and had a fucking shotgun wedding. Fuck this. I literally hate this. Like it was a lot. Like
yeah, I really could have done a 6-month engagement and been super happy. But
yeah.
We were in it together.
We were in it together. Now, let's talk about my winter nights. James and I are obsessed with sleeping like really cold. So if it's too cold outside to sleep with the window open, we just crank our AC down so low. And I personally, like, I know winter's not everyone's favorite season, but it is my favorite season to sleep in because I just find it so cozy. The air outside is brisk. You're wrapped up in bed with your favorite show, little nighttime water by your bed. And you don't think you get any better until you transform your winter bed with Boll and Branch. Now, I am literally recording this ad from bed right now. Yeah, that's right. I can work from bed. And I'm sitting on my Boll and Branch sheets. You guys, there is nothing like them, okay? You can build the coziest bed imaginable with Boll and Branch, makers of the iconic bedding that will change the way that you relax and sleep. Now, start with Boll and Branch best-selling signature sheets. That's what I'm sitting on right now. They are buttery. They are breathable because I don't like to be hot when I sleep, even like because it's cold outside, but I like put so many blankets on. I don't like to be too hot, but the thing about Boll and Branch sheets is they really are breathable and they get softer with every wash. And I'm not kidding. That's tried and true. There are some sheets that I just know like after a certain amount of time, I'm gonna have to get rid of them. These are different. They genuinely get softer with each wash and these sheets are perfect. They're perfect for better sleep. You can easily add Boll and Branch bed blankets, duvets, quilts, and it's not gonna make your bed feel too heavy or hot, which is just fantastic. So if you guys want to splurge and get yourself a new set of sheets, you don't even have to splurge because Boll and Branch is also really, really affordable compared to the quality. Like it's just amazing. You can feel the quality when you touch it. The sheets have just changed the way we sleep. We love it so much. People have come and stayed at our house and been like, what are these sheets? I have to have them. And I'm like, bruh, I know. They've got designs and colors for every bedroom and mattress size. Also, the thing I love about Boll and Branch sheets is they're deep. So if you have like a high mattress, it's going to fit on there. I really, really like that about it. And they have a 30-night worry-free guarantee. So you can try Boll and Branch sheets for an entire month. Seriously, like you can wash, style, feel the difference for yourself, risk-free. And if they don't change the way you sleep, baby, then you can send them back for a full refund. So now is your chance to change the way you sleep with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping. We love free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/probably. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/probably to save 15% and free shipping. Exclusions apply. See site for details. So let's take you to this beautiful, gorgeous wedding weekend. I have recapped your wedding a little bit on my podcast on my own and just talked about how stunning it was. It was a really emotional wedding in the sense that like, not to compare our weddings at all, but like you felt the love, you felt the fun, you felt all that. But I don't think anyone like cried at my wedding. It was just like a really beautiful, fun time. Anna Grace's
also stunning.
Yeah, no, gorgeous. We loved it. Anna Grace's wedding was emotional on like a level. I don't know if she like casted some spell on us where she was like, everyone at the wedding will cry. Like I was crying. It got to a point, and I think I've already said this on the podcast, so sorry I'm repeating myself, but it got to a point where I was crying so much because I was so like legitimately overwhelmed with emotions and so happy for you. Your parents did so much for this wedding, which comes into play with this story that is crazy. Your parents opened their home to 250.
It was like 150.
150. Okay, it felt like 200 people. It was a lot in your childhood home. The florals, the everything, the amount of just like, money, and that was obvious, but the effort that you could tell went into this. They were redesigning their house for a year.
Literally, my dad started planting flowers a week after Austin and I got engaged.
Planting flowers so that their gardens would like look perfect at that time of year they were getting married. So just really, really, I was overwhelmed with how much people cared for you and how much people did for you. And it was just, maybe because I was just coming off of my wedding and knowing what that looked like, because so many people cared for me and did so much for me, then to see it for you too, it just like, it overwhelmed me. There was a point where I looked at your mom, I went into the bathroom, everyone knows this iconic floral scene, John Mark's Enterprise. I'm literally obsessed with you. Like I love you so much. Like he's this florist in Memphis who's a genius, a legend, an artist, like everything. I just like, love him so much. He's a star. He's a star. Anyways, he transformed your mother's house, and in this guest bathroom where I guess a lot of people were going to use the restroom, it had like the bathtub was filled with florals to another level. I walked in, I saw it, I cried. I walked out, I run into Anna Grace's mom. Two different moms, okay? My mom and your mom are the same. They're very powerful women. They're very like, boom. My mom is a lot more emotionally charged than your mom. If you would have walked out and been crying to my mom and been like, I just saw these flowers, I'm so emotional, like my mom would have been like, Anna Grace, like, oh my God.
No, my mom doesn't respond well to tears.
Your mom was like, okay, Shannon, come on. And like, not in a mean way. Like, it was actually, it pulled me out of it. It was really funny. Your mom was like, okay, honey, come on, get over here. And I was like, you care so much. It's so sweet. I can't get over it. And she was like, yeah, okay, come on. Why are you tears? And I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is silly. I'm being crazy.
She's like, come on, Shannon.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Anyways, it was the most gorgeous wedding. Couple that with the fact that Austin's son, your stepson, who is just like the most precious soul in the entire world, Zane, we love him so much. Like, there was such an emotional part with like the vows and everything. It was just like there wasn't a dry eye in the house. It was so gorgeous because you gave vows to Austin, you gave vows to Zane, which is beautiful. But let's rewind just for a quick second. Nothing went wrong at the wedding. Everything
My wedding day was perfect. Minus
so,
like 1 hour in the morning.
Hold to my, your wedding day was perfect. Let's get to the rehearsal dinner.
She's like, look me in the face.
That's where shit, if you think about something that set the tone, you would have thought that your wedding day would have been a fucking disaster. That, and whenever I was planning my wedding, a lot of Marcia, James' mom, said this. She was very adamant about, we didn't have a rehearsal dinner. We had a welcome party because it was such a small group of people. I was like, it'll be the same dinner the next day. So we had a welcome party. But Marcia kept saying, which I truly believe this to be true, she kept being like, the welcome party sets the tone for the weekend. The welcome party sets the tone, because there were a couple times I was like, we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
And my mom and her were like, it sets the tone. Like, it's why like I was so happy that we had the mishap with that giant ferry messing up and everyone kind of brought in on those boats, because I was like, that really set the tone. Like, it was like nice, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, if you were to say, did that set the tone? It did. And then we recovered beautifully. It was like,
well, and also I want to give you guys a little bit of backstory, because I recorded, let me tell you what, an 8-minute long video that went on my Instagram feed. I said
it went viral.
It did. It got a lot of traction on TikTok as well. But here's the thing, leading up to my rehearsal dinner, because I need you guys to have these details. We were supposed to have, I don't even know if I've told you this, we were supposed to have our rehearsal dinner and our welcome party in the same hotel, which is this beautiful hotel in Memphis. Yeah, it's really super funky. It's like Gucci, very eclectic vibes. Yeah, it was super us. And we were going to do the rehearsal dinner downstairs in the lobby, and it was going to be, there was a chef, catered, easy peasy, done.
Yeah.
Well, there was some miscommunication, and it ended up not being available. So my mom is a problem solver and wanted to make the wedding and just the whole weekend as easy as possible so that people didn't have to get cars or shuttles. And we're like, okay, well, the rehearsal dinner needs to be walking distance from the restaurant.
Which it was.
My mom rented out. That was a blank venue. We filled it with chairs, tables, had a florist come. It was not a restaurant. We made it.
I was going to say it was a restaurant.
No, we made it into a restaurant.
Oh, wow. What is it? Normally just
a venue. It's just a blank room.
Wow. I thought it was a restaurant for sure.
No, it was. And then we just had someone cater food into the space. Oh. So like, when I tell you the level of effort that went into this, it wasn't like we casually had a dinner that we all sat down and ate at. My mom like literally created and designed a restaurant in the
I thought it was an Italian restaurant. People asked me where your rehearsal dinner was, and I said an Italian restaurant.
No.
You just had Italian catered to that venue.
John Mark came in and did the flowers. He did the candles. He did the twinkle lights.
Wow.
So again, that's why when I got on my freaking Get Ready With Me story time where I shared this initially, I was like, Sharks, I want a fucking refund.
Yeah, Sharks, I'm coming to you today to ask for a full refund.
For a full refund. I mean, I'm saying $10,000. I don't know. Could have been more. Again, like.
Anna Grace. Yeah, it was more.
Well, whatever. You're not going to, but. And again, like I said, I've said this once, and I just want to preface one more time. Austin and I, we're grown-ass adults at this point. Austin was 37 by the time we got married. We did not have full financial support. Yeah. We had to pay for a lot of things, and Austin and I divvied it up, and it was great.
Sure.
We don't care. We're whole-ass adults. We've got jobs.
Of course.
It's all good.
I think people that get married later on in life, unless you're literally like coming from billionaires or like just a family who's very adamant that we will pay for our daughter's wedding. Like me and James paid for a lot, and then we were very lucky to have some help from his parents and some help from my parents. But like we did not, it was not one of those things where our parents just paid for everything, period.
Well, and also my parents were like, girl, we know you make money.
Everybody's like, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah. Well, and again, it was totally fine. But that's why I was saying traditionally, that's something that would be covered by
the groom's
family. The rehearsal dinner, like just based off of tradition. Like I said, no big deal. But if I'm gonna make a restaurant from scratch and you're on mommy's dime,
y'all better act right.
You better act right on my dime, okay?
Yeah.
So we're also gonna give you guys a couple of rules on what needs to happen at a rehearsal dinner.
So
you're gonna drink the drink. You're gonna eat the little food.
So we were giving rules, by the way. Me and so there were speeches. We will get into it now. So obviously the big story is a speech that you can't even believe happened at Anna Grace's wedding. Like, you just can't even, there are no words, but I will find them. Okay.
Wait, can I just say
will find
this
them.
really quick? Right after it happened, the first person that I went to was Shannon, because Shannon and I's brain works so the same that, like, I knew she already knew how upset I was.
Yeah.
And we've just also been in a lot of like public speaking situations. And I went over to her and she goes, I want you to know that was the worst possible situation that could have ever happened. The good news is that it was so fucking bad that there's no way anyone could have thought that was supposed to happen.
Right.
And I literally was like, this isn't making me feel any better at all.
No. I said this was so bad that no one will talk about it behind your back.
Yeah.
Like, no one will be like, oh, that was awkward. It was so bad. Please just know that everyone is somehow making this like, whoa, fear factor. Like, it wasn't like someone saw someone pick their nose and eat it and they're all just telling it behind their back. Like, it was like we watched that guy pick a snake up and eat its shit, like, and crunch it in front of all of us. Like, it was like, I was like, just so you know, everyone is just like, wow. Like, please know it was so absurd. That's better. And I'm like, I really am sorry if that made you feel worse at the time. But
No,
like,
but the funniest thing you said next was, she goes, it kind of reminded me of the speech of Brides and Shoot where she gets up on and they're fighting over the mic trying to give a speech in the movie Bridesmaids, and she's like, la escuela, la escucha, like just saying random stuff, but times 100
times 100. Okay, we are on my hair journey, and it started out with me just like wanting to get my short hair long, and I had chopped it all off. I wanted it to grow long and healthy for my wedding, but now I'm pregnant, and now I really care about my hair journey because I just want to make sure that when I experience things that people do experience in postpartum, I want to make sure I have something that has my back. Now, whatever phase of your hair journey you're in, Nutrafol is going to be that girl for you. Okay, it came highly recommended to me by many, many hair gurus. Honestly, my friends in general, like I have friends in the hair industry, I have friends who just have hair, okay? And they love it. And they loved their results. And I can speak to the results myself because I was taking Nutrafol for years. So if you have hair thinning, hair shedding, or you just want to get your hair to its healthiest place, Nutrafol can help get you there. So the results that I see from taking Nutrafol, genuinely just so obvious. And there are many, many reasons behind hair shedding, and Nutrafol is going to address the root of that issue by taking this whole body approach to hair health. And the thing is, they start within. Okay. Now, it's also the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement clinically shown to improve visible thickness and strength. I did notice that because when I was growing my hair, I was like, I don't want it to just grow long and thin. And I feel like I could see that visible thickness and strength in my hair from taking Nutrafol. And I have given Nutrafol as gifts to my friends. My grandma, if you guys follow me on Instagram, my grandma is obsessed with Nutrafol. It's the sweetest thing in the entire world. She like messages me all the time, like, I love Nutrafol. So no matter what age you are, no matter what stage you're at in your life, postpartum, young, whatever, hair shedding is something that happens and you can just get the most reliable results from Nutrafol. Now, I love how my natural hair has been growing, especially because I just really wanted my hair to be at its healthiest. But like I said, I'm going to start taking the postpartum one as soon as I pop this sweet little baby out. So start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code PROBABLY. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, it's spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code PROBABLY. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code PROBABLY. We'll explain to it, but what happened in the speech. I'll give the rundown. I won't make you relive it. Explain who all was giving the speeches, and then I was going to explain that you gave us guidelines.
Yes, I did.
So explain, because I forgot who you asked to give speeches.
Okay, so first it was my sister, who's my maid of honor, and then it was Hunter and Cameron.
Yes.
Adorable.
So sweet. They gave like a husband-wife speech. It was so
They did
fucking
like a
cute.
duet together. I mean, it was so cute. Not a singing duet, but like a duet speech.
Yeah.
And I'm just obsessed with them. And then Sarah Smith, who's just a funny ass girly. Her speech was so sweet, and it made Zane sob.
Oh, it was so sweet.
Zane was sobbing. Sarah's speech was so cute. She talked about wanting to like move to Florida and just join our family, and just was saying a lot of sweet things because Sarah's come to visit and stay with me, Austin and Zane. And then the last one was going to be Shannon. And in between, Austin had 4 guy friends who went. So it was Austin's best friend's brother, and then cousin was going last.
Right.
And I sent you a voice memo and Sarah Smith just because you guys are really funny. And I sent them a voice memo before and was like, hey, just want you guys to know this wedding is my family member, my parents who are 70, all of my mom's coworkers who she's worked with for the last 20 years. Please, like, no silly. Remember when you were single jokes? I knew Shannon wouldn't have done that, but I still just had to say it just to be like, very clear
It's
direction.
one of those moments where you're like, I know y'all would never do this to me, but like, no talk about funny drugs and mushrooms. No talk about this. No talk about that. Like, just like keep it. And we were like, of course. But I understood why you needed to say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We did actually the exact opposite at our wedding. And it's nice to do. At our wedding, we told James' best friend and we told Taylor and we didn't have to tell my dad this. We didn't want his to be inappropriate, but we basically told them like, just so you know, it's a very young crowd. The only people that are there that are older are very chill, very cool. So like, you know, liven your speech up a little bit. You can be funny, you can be crass. It's the crowd for it. And everyone really appreciated the direction. So I understood that when you said that, you were like, I'm keeping your direction. And now me and Sarah were like, of course, right, whatever. And the thing about Austin's speeches, you did tell me, you're like, I hope his friends don't go rogue. And I was like, have you given Austin directions? You're like, no. But like, I hope his friends don't go rogue. And I kind of thought they wouldn't because they would understand. But you specifically said, the good news is I know his family will act right. Cause like one of his cousins, and I was like, oh, which one of his cousins
who's a professional writer, by the way, who Austin told me for weeks leading up to it was like, man, he's really been working on his speech. He's told us how excited he is to deliver it. Austin, that was actually kind of sad for him because he really thought it was gonna be like something special, like recapping their childhood together.
And then you went through the order. You asked me if it was okay if I went last. And I was like, oh, going last. I'm closing the show. And you were like, yeah. But right before you is Austin's cousin, who will give a really beautiful speech. You were like, he's a professional writer. He's very eloquent. He's well-spoken. And they just like really spent their childhood together, like a beautiful, sweet childhood. So anyways, I'm like, cool. Yeah. Okay. Then I meet him at the rehearsal. We're going through the motions of going down the aisle. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what a lovely guy. I tell you, he's from a place that I know. We're chatting. I'm like, I met so-and-so. So nice. You were like, that's the guy I'm talking about. That's going to give the really beautiful speech.
Who also, I only met 2 times in my whole life before this. Has always been so lovely. Never said an inappropriate thing in front of me.
I was like, what a fun guy. Cool. So we have the rehearsal dinner.
So imagine the shock.
Let me just say, all of those details are important, you guys, because the level of shock, like, it wasn't one of Austin's good old boys, good old pals. Like, Austin's a sporty guy. He grew up playing sports. Like, no, all of his friends, by the way, are the most amazing. I have so much fun when I'm with Austin's friends. They're like so fun. They really, awesome. When you told me, you're like, I'm worried, I hope his friends don't say anything crazy. I'm like, they won't. I just knew they wouldn't.
No.
And by the way, his friend Josh, like, I'm just going to go on record and say, like, I would have thought, like, no, look, I just thought, like, my speech will probably be the best. Like, his speech,
he took the crown home.
It blew me out of the water. I went up to him later and I know he was just like being sweet and like riding a high of like, oh, like my best friend's getting married. But I was like, you have to get into public speaking. Like you actually have to. It was memorized. It was so gorgeous. It was like I do stand up. Do you know how hard delivery is? Like writing the speech isn't the half of it. It's the delivery.
It's always the delivery.
I was blown. I felt like I was at Tony Robbins, but like a comedy version of it. He was funny. He was emotional. He was like, oh my God, if anything like saved that, his speech was amazing. Josh, job well done.
Thank you, Josh.
I couldn't get over it. Everyone at the table was like, wow. Like everyone was like, I've gone to so many weddings. You know, the speeches are just boring. Like they're sweet, but they're boring. Okay, everyone says the same shit. His speech was unreal. It was unfucking real. Okay, Courtney was there. Was it not unreal? It was really good. It was so good. Okay. So then, you know, he goes, Hunter and Cameron go, beautiful. Sarah goes, wonderful. It's then time for the cousin. He gets up. I'll give you guys the version. Now, just know, I'm going to give you a 1.5-minute version. This speech went on for, I think you've
6 to 8 minutes.
I think you've burned the tapes, but if we had to guess, I would say 8 minutes. 8 minutes. He gets on the mic. Here's where he went wrong. Well, first of all, he was hammered. Second of all, I think he was really drunk.
But I'm not sure if that was just an excuse. I don't know.
It could just be an excuse. He gets up there. He doesn't seem hammered when he gets up there, by the way. I think just afterwards we were like trying to find a reason for it. So we're like, is he fucking hammered? Like, question mark?
Even Austin was like, I just don't think there's any way he wrote that down. Like, I think he got up there and went rogue.
That's the issue I was going to say. And so that's what's confusing because didn't he tell Austin he was working on the speech for a long time? So the way he went wrong immediately was that he didn't have a beginning, middle, and end. So it just stayed at the middle. It actually stayed at the beginning for so long. He kept repeating the same stuff, but using different words. So basically what happened was he gets up there. He says, Austin and I have been, you know, cousins our whole lives. I love him. We grew up together. He's so close to me, which is why I feel really bad for what I'm about to do. Whole crowd laughs. That's funny. That's innocent. That's innocent, right?
That's innocent.
Ha ha. I'm going to roast him. Of course you aren't. You know, of course you aren't.
Of course you don't roast someone at their rehearsal dinner.
We all laughed, by the way. This was such a weird speech. And I don't want to call it a roast because none of it was true about Austin. But like, I'm here to say, if this cousin is listening to this podcast, you haven't fucking seen what a roast is yet, bitch. Like, buckle the fuck up, okay? So
Shannon doesn't like when people mess with me.
No, I like literally will never stand up for myself. But if you fuck with one of my friends, like you will rue the day. Like you will literally rue the day. So anyways, he gets up there. We all laugh. We chuckle like, haha, I feel bad for what I'm about to do. We're like, haha, he's going to roast him.
And he made one other like funny remark about how Austin was like the hottest of the Silvoys. And like, he was like, I'm no longer the hot Silvoy. Like once Austin... Like something about Austin becoming an athlete and getting tall.
Sure. Once he got tall and grew up, we realized, because there's an age gap there. There's like an age gap
10 or 12 years.
There's like a 10 or 12 year age gap, which was the premise of this speech. So basically he says, and just so you know while I'm saying all this, if none of the stuff I'm saying makes sense, it's because nothing he said made sense.
No.
Where I think he was going with it is not where he went with it. He got lost along the way. He could have made a really short, weird joke about it, and I guess we would have kind of understood what he was saying, but instead he made the joke last 8 minutes, and it also just wasn't funny. Okay, PSA for anyone who rents, and that used to be me because I was a renter through and through. Even after I started making money, people were like, you should buy a house, you should buy a house. I just was not ready, and I was renting, and people like gave me so much shame for that, and shame on them, because do not shame renters, but I get it. Their whole shtick is like, you're flushing money down the toilet when you rent. Like, okay, well, I have to rent, so what am I going to do about it? Let me tell you what you can do about it now. If you haven't heard of Built, you are about to thank me. Earning points on rent is now a reality when you pay your rent through Built. And you don't even have to check with your landlord, by the way, to start earning points that you can use towards flights, hotel stays, fitness classes, and even on, you ready for this? Your next rent payment. Like, if I had known about this when I was renting, I don't know if I would have ever bought a house. I would have just used Built forever. So let me break it down for you. There's no cost to join Built. And as a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent on your everyday spending, like money you're already going to spend. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones that you haven't heard of, okay? There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world that you can redeem your Built points towards. Now, points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment. You heard me right. Towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that really only Built members can access. So if you are not earning points on rent, my next question is, why? What are you doing? What are you doing? Do it for me. Do it for me who didn't know about Built whenever I rented, okay? So start earning points on the rent that you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/probably. That's joinbilt.com/probably. Make sure to use my URL so they know that I sent you. Joinbuilt.com/probably to start earning points on your rent payments today. So he says that when he was 16, he was at a past puberty age and Austin was younger. He's like, there was this time, he's like, I want to tell you guys about a really serious thing in our family. He was like, Austin was younger. We were all, either changing or in the bathroom or something. And Austin, looked at our, we're like, oh my God, is he gonna say dick?
I remember my head was like, surely he's not about to talk about his penis right now. I remember going, no.
We're like, no. But so he does. He's like, Austin's looking at our stuff saying, why is that? And he asked us, he said, can we just use a fake name? Because I don't remember his name anyways. Jason. Literally don't remember his name. I'm not kidding. That's how much you don't mean to me. So Jason is your name to me, by the way. Jason was basically like, he's looking at her stuff and he goes,
he was looking at me hung like a horse.
Yes, I'm hot now because I'm hung like a horse.
A baby's arm holding an apple.
I'm like a baby's arm holding an apple. This is where the crowd starts getting like
turning
really uncomfortable and laughing in a way that like there is a difference in laughter. There's a there is a what? There's everyone collectively laughing while saying the word what? Like what? Like everyone just looking around because he starts describing how big his dick is, which by the way, can't imagine. And he's literally like, it's a baby's arm holding an apple. It's like a tree trunk, and Austin's looking at me and he's like, Jason, why doesn't mine look like that? And I have to tell him, which is what I'm going to tell all of you here tonight. And we are all like, where is this going?
And Austin's a little boy in the story.
By the way, yeah.
Also, this story never happened, just so that all of you guys know.
Yeah, because
later on, thing was made up.
Later on, I was like, in what world did that happen? Austin's like, it didn't. And by the way, everyone needs to keep in mind whenever I talk about, whenever you're like, why are you so mad about this? Like, Austin's 12-year-old son
he's 13, but
13, whatever. He was there during this whole thing, and that to me, and like also Anna Grace's father, like I'm not trying to be ageist here, but like a lot of older people were there.
It was just,
it was so wildly inappropriate.
The saying "read the room" was missed so hard. There was like only a few people even there that he even knew.
Yeah, he only knew about 4 people, and they were his direct family.
And I don't know.
So he goes on to say, and so we're all like, what? And he's like, and I had to tell him, which is what I'm going to tell you guys here. Unfortunately, you're part of the Silvoy curse. And now here's where I think he was going to make a crude joke, and it turned into like a weird 8-minute long weird joke, really creepy weird joke. Basically, I think he was trying to say, and he also, oh my God, like so, talk about reading the room wrong. He kept bringing up like Marvel characters and like Star Wars references. Bitch, we're not nerds. Like, we don't know what you're talking about. Like, he kept trying to reference like characters from like comic books and stuff.
I don't even remember that.
I was talking about, Courtney. He kept being like, we're like Mr. So-and-so, and he kept referencing characters. He was like, there's a Silvoy curse that skips a generation. And he's like, and you know, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're cursed with the small, well, and he kept saying words. He kept being like, wiener, dick. You literally felt like you were being dick slapped across the face as he was talking. He said every word for penis. He said penis. He said wiener. He said dick. He said every word for dick. I thought about it. He just didn't say cock. He literally said everything but cock. Like, it was so crazy how many times he mentioned the male genitalia. Like, it was so nuts, and different words, and you just kept being like, like you literally felt like you're being dick slapped. It was so weird. He went on with a version of that for so long. Like, he just kept being like, it is a small amount, and Uncle Jimmy's laughing his butt off over there. He knows. And it's like, we were all collectively like, what the fuck? And he didn't stop. He kept describing how Austin's penis is so small and mine is so big, and it was so weird.
It was like, when I tell you, it was the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me my whole entire life. And the thing that got me really pissed, and at this point, everyone, you've got to understand, I am the bride. I'm hosting this thing. It's majority like my parents' friends. Everyone's looking at me. I'm sorry. I actually have hives at this point. And everyone keeps going. When the video went viral, everyone was like, why did you not stop him? When I tell you guys, went into rigor mortis.
We all kind of did.
Everyone was so shocked.
You can't express it. It would have been more dramatic to race up there and grab the mic from him. Because I think
we kept thinking it was going to stop.
Thinking it was going to stop.
We kept thinking it was going to stop. I can't explain it to you.
He would, I'll tell you why we thought that. He would shift out of the joke and be like, that's why when he met Anna Grace, and we're like, oh, thank God it's over. He's like, I had to ask him, does she know about, and we're like, Jesus Christ. Like, oh my God, we're back here again. Like, we all kept thinking it was going to end. And it just went on for 8 minutes. And it was so crazy. And I think what happened, and I just talked about this, what finally happened was we all finally shook off the shock and was like, this can't be still happening. Yeah. And the gorgeous MC who was kind of like running the show, she started walking towards him.
Yeah. Wait, can I tell one thing before we shut it down? He basically is like, the thing that got me was that I was like, oh, so your cousin fucking hates my guts, or hates the institution of marriage, or might even hate you, Austin.
Yeah.
I think he might hate all of us. I've only met this man twice, has no reason to hate me, because he's like, you know, and then you met Anna Grace, like, poor thing, like, she's just doomed to a life of misery with this little
tiny dick.
No, this little tiny. We were all like, what? And then, like, I mean, he literally acted like pretty much Austin was born without a wiener.
No, and this
like,
is
I was just like,
not to slight the micro penis community, but he was all but saying like Austin had a micro penis.
And also, like, I am someone, I'm gonna get so serious, but I do not think it's funny to make fun of anyone's penises, literally ever anyone's body. Like, I think it's so gross and
weird. I was just gonna say, it's not funny to make fun, like, also, and this is the part that Austin hates. Austin really hates this part. I'm sure he's not gonna listen to this podcast. Like, I've got it on really good authority. He's got a great size penis, okay?
No,
so, like,
that was the thing that I was like, is this a joke because Austin has a big penis?
What I had to keep telling you that night, because you kept being like, it's not even true, and I was like, Anna Grace, nobody heard that story and thinks that's true. Not to mention the fucking freakazoid like set the scene of the story as Austin as a 12-year-old. So like, sadly, everyone was just picturing your husband's 12-year-old penis, which is really creepy.
No, and me takes everything way too far. Austin and I have this, actually, I did do this at one of Shannon's shows. I told this story how Austin and I have this really beautiful archive of nudes.
Yeah. She's like, I'll get him out.
No, I literally am like, do y'all want to see his penis?
We're like, no.
And that was the thing that I was like, maybe because Austin the man is
doesn't-
oozing confidence.
He also doesn't like this because I think he really
doesn't,
is
no,
like,
he's not gonna like this at all.
because he really is like, I have nothing to prove. Like, I think James would be the same way. He'd be like, stop talking about it because I don't need to sound offensive. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, and when someone
we're being defensive.
when someone attacks your partner, it's just different.
It is. And like
And
he said,
unbothered. He's unbothered king.
He was only bothered, which is so crazy. He was only bothered because it upset you. He was like, that was fucking weird. But like I don't think he thought it was just a really weird speech and that it was a really bad speech, but he was so unbothered by the context.
Yeah, he was more sad and disappointed
because it was so inappropriate. So basically 2 minutes before the speech ended, this is where it gets serious. Like, this is where I'm not fucking around. Anna Grace's father got up and left because it was so inappropriate and weird. And
if you guys also like ever go look at my Instagram, there's a video I posted of my father and you watch it and he's like, hello, welcome to Anna Grace and Austin's wedding. You will be shooketh to your core.
He's an environmental scientist who has the purest heart of anyone you've ever met in your life. He is literally the opposite of your mother and my mother in the sense that he is all things like calm and like
the
just
love of my life.
Sweet and like, not that your mom's not sweet. I would literally die for your mom.
She's just a power person.
Yeah, so is my mom. Like my dad and your dad are always like, can't get a word in edgewise. Like, yeah, and that's probably how James feels about me. Like, it is what it is. And I just like, to the purest of pure is your father. And like, he physically had to get up and walk away to the point that, okay, anyways, I think the MC starts walking towards him. Mm-hmm. He notices that. And I guess he wants to end it on his own volition, on his own terms. So he wraps up nothing because the speech was nothing. He wraps it up in a really weird way, like, anyways, that's all. And I feel really bad for your dick, bro. And then like puts the mic down or something. And we were like,
and at this point, no one is laughing. No
one's laughing. Everyone's really freaked out. The cameraman's looking at us like, what? I look
all
at
the videographers, photographers.
They didn't know what to keep filming. Like at first they were just filming people's reactions because everyone was like, what? Huh? Like, and then it got to a point where I think they were like, should I be filming this? This is really weird. Anna Grace was literally like, burn the tapes. I never want them to exist again.
I did tell the videographer that.
Then something really beautiful happened. And that was so random, but like loved it. That was, by the way, then it was my turn. I was closing out the speeches and I was like, are you actually fucking kidding me? Now, if you're like me, you've given a lot of thought on how to improve your health and wellness routine this year. I am really trying. 2025 is my year to try to be really healthy. I did a good job last year, but I want to keep it up. So if you guys want to help elevate your wellness routine, meet my new sponsor, Redwood Outdoors. You guys, I love Redwood Outdoors. We have a sauna. We have a cold plunge by them. They are just simply the best. And trust me, James did so much research before we got a sauna and a cold plunge. He was like, it has to be the best of the best. And we landed on Redwood Outdoors because they are. You guys can experience the transformative benefits of contrast therapy with a sauna and a cold plunge. That's what James loved. The contrast therapy, he really believes, just is very, very, very healthy for you. So a cleaner, healthier routine through a backyard sauna and cold plunge. Now it's an investment, but it's an investment in longevity and vitality, and it can help you share moments of peace and connect with loved ones. Now, I am currently pregnant, so no sauna for me, but James, when I tell you, he is so obsessed with the benefits of a sauna. He is in there non-stop. Not to mention the power of a deeper detox, reduced inflammation, and glowing skin. Like when I could get in a sauna, it was just genuinely a safe, peaceful place. You would play a little music in there. Like, it's just so nice. And a Redwood Outdoors backyard sauna seats 2 to 8 people and provides the ultimate and deep relaxation, reduced muscle tension, improved circulation, improved sleep, and so much more. Now, Redwood Outdoors' invigorating backyard cold plunge challenges your body. Let me tell you, it does. Like, I am impressed. When we first got the cold plunge, it was so hard for me to get in it. James is just a beast, so he just like loves it. I found it does get easier as you like mentally train yourself, and it's worth it because you know that you're boosting your circulation. You're promoting mental clarity while invigorating your senses and boosting your mood. Let me tell you something. I did not believe James. I don't know why. Like, you just don't believe your husband when they say some stuff, okay? And he was like, you will feel like you just like did a like double shot of espresso. Your mind will be so clear. You will be so like invigorated and your mood will be so great. And I'm like, yeah, after I get into freezing cold water, I don't know about that. And then you do. You get out and you literally feel like someone wiped sludge off your brain. Like, the mental clarity is just insane. I can speak to it. It's amazing. So if you guys want to enhance your physical and mental wellness routines with Redwood Outdoors, take advantage of the special savings today because you can visit redwoodoutdoors.com and use code PROBABLY and save $175. That is redwoodsoutdoors.com, code PROBABLY, to save $175 on your order. redwoodoutdoors.com, code probably. So I go to get up. I am like, okay, because that's how the speeches were running. The second someone was done, someone else went up and grabbed the mic. There was no like breaks in between. So I'm like, okay. So I get up to get the mic, and this lady runs up and is like, no, hold on, I need the mic. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. Like, what now?
No,
like,
I was so freaked out. I was like, what's happening now?
But now that I think about it, still the funniest thing, and like I don't want to use the word weird, it wasn't weird, but it was just like so random. But it was good. It was good that it happened. But at the time I was like, what is this? I don't think Anna Grace wants any of this.
No.
It was basically she ran up and she grabbed the mic from the guy, and then the guy sits down, literally fuck him, and then he sits down, and she was like, okay, so we know that Anna Grace, the bride, and her mother all went to the University of Arkansas. And we were like, where is this going? And I was thinking, it's literally my turn. And she was like, and so I'm going to teach the whole crowd how to do something that's very important to us in Arkansas, and that's woo big suey. And so she was like, so this is how you do it. Woo big suey. And I'm honestly operating on just like this like wave of just like, okay, like we all collectively had Stockholm syndrome. We were all trapped. We all just were like, okay.
I froze. I went into rigor mortis, and y'all think I'm being funny. I'm serious. I froze.
No, and so we all collectively, after that all happens, now I realize, because Anna Grace was like, she wanted to clear the energy. She wanted to take that.
She was trying to just like distract everyone
like
and shake
tell
it
people
up.
to shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. And so the whole crowd literally go, woo, pig suey. And we did it 5 times.
No, and my mom's like, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, and her mom was like, enough. And so honestly, like that's what I'm telling you, was giving Bridesmaids, that like that happened. And I was just like,
it was like,
what the fuck is happening?
And it went from being like the most beautiful speeches, Zane is crying, Austin and I are like having this like intimate moment, it's a gorgeous place, to like literally
dicks, woo pig suey, dicks, woo pig suey. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then they were like, now it's your turn, Shannon. And I was like, perfect. Okay. And I'm not gonna lie, I got up there, and you guys, I do this for a living. Like, I was not nervous. Like, it's my best friend, had the most gorgeous speech written. I was shaking. I'm pissed at him because like my speech wasn't as good. It would have never beat Josh's anyways. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. But like, it was just like, I was so thrown off by all of that. And I started the speech by saying, I'm going to have to read my notes. And then I literally looked at him and I said, some of us should have stuck to our notes.
Oh, Shannon starts clapping at him. And also, like, I don't know if he thought maybe she was just being funny. And
he looked at me like rude. Like, he looked at me like when I said that.
Oh, and that's the thing. They all doubled down.
Yeah, they doubled down, you guys. Like, after the video came out, I'm just saying, like, double downs were had.
Well, I still have more to go about this, but okay. So Shannon gets up. She kind of claps at him.
Yeah, I say like, sorry guys, I'm not to read my notes. Well, I do think some of us should have read our notes. My very first intro to my speech, I won't tell you the rest of my speech, it was really sweet and beautiful. But basically, the very first thing I say is, I'm Shannon for Middleton. I say whatever my name is now. And I'm like, if you guys don't know me, I'm a bridesmaid and Anna Grace's self-proclaimed second favorite redhead in the world. Because as you guys know, her father is her first favorite redhead because her dad has red hair. I look to where her father's sitting. He's not there.
He's gone.
I literally look around. I'm like, where's Tim? And then I don't see him, and someone points, and I realize that Tim has walked away, and he is now not there for, 1, woo pig suey, you missed that. 2, he's not there for my speech. He's not there for his daughter's best friend's speech. It's about to be beautiful and emotional.
Because Jason upset him.
Because Jason upset him, he had to walk away. I'm not kidding. I literally go, where's Tim? They said he walked away. I looked because the speeches were also given right beside Jason. So I was right beside him while I was doing this. I looked at him and I go, do you see what you did? You literally made her father walk away. Now that I think about that, probably not the time or place for me to do that.
Loved it.
But I was like, oh, do you see what you did? You literally made him walk away, her father. And then I just
Your off the cuff moments were like the best.
The funniest. I know. The rest of my speech was just sweet.
But it was really sweet. And honestly, here's the disclaimer. Unless you have let the bride and groom know, some people told me that like in other countries or other cultures, they will roast the groom, but never the bride. First of all,
of course,
you never disrespect the bride. I've never been so disrespected in my actual whole entire life.
Yeah.
Ever by a male. Like, wow, men on microphones. Let's shut it down. But
that brings up another
minus
point.
Josh.
Men should never have microphones unless you're Josh, Austin's best friend. Like, we have got to take microphones away from men.
Well, and then when you go, like, people don't understand how my family broke their freaking back to execute this wedding. It was just very hard. Like, we did it at my parents' house. It's the home that I grew up in. It was built in like the 1905. It's not made to hold all these people. My parents worked every day for a year to bring this wedding to life. I'm not kidding. It was so hands-on, so hard work. So for Jason to come and literally just whip his dick out and then piss on the floor in front of everyone at the end of the dinner, like, I couldn't get over the disrespect. I still can't.
It was figuratively, by the way, he didn't actually whip his dick out. He probably couldn't find it. But like, that's figuratively what he did to all of us. And I'm here to say, and I really am, like, as your best friend, I'm sorry, but I just have to say, nothing in this world could touch your wedding. Like, there were angels all around it. It was the most beautiful. No one thought about Jason. I don't even see him. Like, no one fucking cares about him.
Yeah.
But I am sad to say, like, if anyone thinks back to your rehearsal dinner, like, that's simply what they'll think about.
That's what killed me too. I put so much time, effort, energy, money, everything. And then for the one thing and all these beautiful speeches, and like everyone goes back to the room and it's like, so what the fuck with Jason? Which is exactly what happened. And that's why I was so pissed about it all.
Yeah.
And then not to mention, like, you know, me and Austin had to have like a really weird conversation with Zane and be like, hey, we don't talk like that. We like, that's also some weird thing here he made up. Like, we had to have these like very weird damage control situations that were just like super sad and uncomfortable. And we had to kick him out, Jason.
Yes. And the night before your wedding, I don't think what you pictured doing with your groom the night before your wedding is sitting his 13-year-old son down to have like hard conversations about like sexual innuendos and sexual conversations that shouldn't happen in public. Like, and then Austin having to be like, our family doesn't talk like that. We, you know, Zane.
There's also no curse.
He's also probably like, I know that, Dad. Like he was like, I'm not a freak. Like, that skipped a generation. Like, don't worry.
Well,
like,
and as soon as the speech was over, which really does suck because by the time your speech went, I was still kind of in rigor mortis. I do remember the funny parts of your speech.
Nice.
But then as soon as you were done, I literally turn away because I had taken my shoes off. I turned away. I mean, I was like sweating during this whole experience. I turn away and I just like so immediately have tears in my eyes. And Austin looks at me and he's like, oh no. And I literally go, I cannot believe he just said that out loud in front of all of our family and friends. Like, I was just like, I am so disgusted right now. Like, I'm actually freaked out.
Yeah.
And Austin was like, oh my God, should we make him apologize to everyone? And I go, the last thing we need to do is put him back on the mic.
Yeah, the last thing we're doing to that man is hand him a mic.
No, but Austin was like, it was sad. He was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry.
Of course. Okay, so since getting pregnant, I have become, and I'm just going to say it, and I'm going to speak my truth, and I hope you guys are going to judge me for this. I've just had a difference in smell, okay? My pits, okay? My BO smells different. It's not like it smells like worse, or I don't know how to explain it. I'm just like, oh, that's different. And I'm sure it's all the hormones and all that stuff. And I am very, very adamant about using a natural deodorant, okay? And I've always used Lumi, and I love Lumi because I feel good and safe about using it, all right? And I know there are a lot of people out there. There's a lot of discourse about natural deodorants not working. Lumi is not that girl, okay? Lumi works. And as someone who is now like stinkier because I'm hormonal and pregnant, I can promise you, like, I might just make the switch back if it didn't work. It works. I cannot stand smells right now. Like, I am a bloodhound, and if I could smell myself, I would not be okay. So Lumi works. Trust me. And what I love about Lumi most of all is it's a whole body deodorant. Okay, so it's safe to use anywhere on your body. Your pits, for me personally, under boobs, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, vulvas, and feet. Like, literally wherever you want. Okay, now it was created by an OBGYN. Love that. I love that. So she saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Clinically proven, Lumi, clinically proven to block odor all day, and this is the kicker, control odor for up to 72 hours. Now, this is a deodorant that's really going to last, which I appreciate. Lumi deodorant products options are amazing. They've got this like solid deodorant stick, the one that I love that you can just use all over. They've got a sweat control deodorant that has 72-hour odor control and sweat control for your pits, privates, and beyond. Now, that solid stick deodorant is formulated and powered by mandelic acid. I don't even know what that is, but let me tell you something, that it works. So that's what stops the odor before it even starts. And they also have a spray deodorant. So that is aluminum free, which we love, and ideal for hard to reach places. All right, when you need the spray, you got the spray. And all products are baking soda free and paraben free. That's the kicker. I love it being paraben free. pH balance, so it's going to be safe for use below the waist. And they've got a variety of fresh scents. Like, they've got bright scents like clean tangerine. They've got lavender sage, toasted coconut. I used to use the toasted coconut, and now I'm like kind of on my clean tangerine vibe. I really, really love it. So Lumi's starter pack is going to be perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant. That one's great. 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Like, this is an incredible starter pack. And as a special offer for my listeners, new customers are going to get 15% off all Lumi products with my exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that is going to equal over 40% off their starter pack. Like, you guys, come on. So use code PROBABLY for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code PROBABLY at LUMEDEODORANT.com. Support my show, tell them I sent you, smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Lumi. The next day, Anna Grace had me come over the next morning. She was like, well, didn't get much sleep. Really can't stop thinking about that. Really upset about that.
I was actually in fight or flight for after that. Like, I felt like I was, and even my therapist was like, well, you sit down to receive beautiful words from your friends and family who love you, and then like someone attacks you.
Shits in your hands and claps.
Yeah, literally. Shits in your hand and claps. Like, it is like kind of like an attack. Like, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, also,
not prepared for that.
No.
And I, the next morning, went into the hair and makeup where everyone was at. And I was like, hey guys, Anna Grace is going to be here shortly. Just as a heads up. I know last night was so insane. And everyone's like, right. And I was like, don't talk about it. No, not a word. And everyone was like, oh, I was like, she's actually really upset about it. And they were like, oh, like very upset. I go, it will be funny one day. I think one day we'll be able to laugh about it while we're also probably pretty pissed. Today is, we cannot speak of it. Don't bring it up. Don't talk about it in the makeup chair. Don't tell the hairstylist. Don't tell anyone the story, and do not like casually bring it up. If she says something, I even suggest you redirect her and like you tell her like, we didn't even remember that. We forgot about that. And everyone really was like, no one was like, no, we wouldn't have done that anyways. Everyone's like, oh, okay, good to know.
Yeah,
like,
we're like, okay, glad you said something.
Because it was so absurd. I could see everyone being like, that was crazy. And I'm like, no mention of it. None.
But I just like, the thing is that like, yes, it happened and it sucked and all the things. And I really am so fortunate that I've done so much work on myself that I was able to turn this ship around.
Right.
Because the morning of, I was pretty much like, the videographer called me. Like, I had a couple little damage controls. They're like, okay, we're going to delete this footage. We're going to do this. Like, I was like, this was my like main concern the day of, was that no one was going to fucking open your mouth on my wedding day.
Yeah.
So help me God, if you speak out loud.
Yeah.
And everyone on TikTok was like, why did he even get invited? I'm like, you know what? At that point, I didn't even want to go through this whole charade.
We had
like,
the conversation.
Yeah.
Your parents did, but I don't know, it was behind your back. Like about
my family had a lot of conversations that I was not involved in,
as you shouldn't have been.
Yeah. I was like removed. My parents, my family did not want him to be a part of it, but like, again, not our family member, not our like thing. And Austin is such a just like, Austin really just does sees the good in people regardless, and was like, maybe he was really drunk, like maybe, you know, Austin was very much on my side. Did damage
Everyone
control.
did say that. Everyone was trying to give him was trying to make sense of it. Everyone that talked about it that I talked to was like, God, he must have been hammered.
Well, because
like,
it was just like, it didn't seem like it was meant to be malicious, but it was just so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, there was a lot of conversations that were happening the morning of that I was just like, here's the thing, no one's going to talk. We're going to just go on with the day, because I don't want this to, like, I don't want people to continue for that to be the focal point of the weekend.
Correct. And it wasn't.
My family has worked, you know, this beautiful wedding is about to happen.
Yeah. And it wasn't the focal point of the wedding day by a mile.
But that's why that video that I had posted that I almost shared to TikTok, and then I eventually did when we thought TikTok was going to get shut down. That was so stupid. But I shared the video of me dancing and crying because it was 6 a.m. on my wedding day. And I'm like, I'm going to film a TikTok right now. I'll do some dancing to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
But that was the only time that I cried. After that, as soon as I went into hair and makeup, it was done.
Yeah, it was
done.
done.
No one spoke of it.
Except for you and your dad and I did have a conversation about it. I'm really close with your family, and your sister and your dad and I were talking, and your mom was busy doing a million things with the wedding and florals. And your dad was like, Shannon, do I say something to him or do I wait till after the wedding? I was like, you know, Tim, I think he's like, I think I got to say something to him as her father. And I said, I think you have every right to say something. And your dad, by the way, was not asking my permission. If he listens to this, he's also, like, I wasn't asking your permission.
Jason's 50-year-old man.
Yeah. I was just like, listen, I think this is what I think you need to make sure, Tim, if you go talk to him. I think you make sure that he does not try to apologize to Anna Grace today. Like if he has any inkling like, oh shit, I fucked up, I need to apologize. He cannot do it today. He has to do it in a letter a week from now, after their honeymoon, whatever. Like, he needs to not speak to her today. And your dad was like, right. I'll tell you something, Shannon. And I'm like, picturing him being like, you know, your dad's very like peaceful, like no
Super.
violence. Like your dad's just very like, I was thinking like, of course your dad would talk to him because he keeps saying so nice. Like he was like, I'll tell you something, Shannon. When a man speaks like that about your daughter and your future son-in-law and you're at a wedding, where I come from, and I'm thinking, I don't know what beautiful thing he's about to say and profound thing he's about, like he's Buddha. Like what is he about to say? He's like, where I come from, that's enough for me to whoop your ass. And I was like, what the fuck? And your sister was like, what, Dad? He's like, where I come from, that is enough for me to whoop your ass. And I was like, oh my God. By the way, like Vic Ford would have like caught a charge. Like Vic Ford would have caught a charge 100%. Like anyways, I just thought that was so funny. And yeah, basically your dad, like as sweet and kind as he is, like even he was like, I'm gonna whoop his ass.
Well, and my dad did pull him aside, by the way, on the wedding day.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, don't say anything to Anna Grace. Hope you apologize to her maybe in a week from now.
Never did, by the way.
It's been, when did I get married, Shannon?
In October.
Oh, that's weird. It's February. Yep.
Never an apology.
And honestly, I probably would have never recorded that Get Ready With Me story if I had gotten an apology. But I felt like I was a phony for posting all these beautiful, gorgeous wedding content. Everyone was like, was it the most perfect weekend, perfect thing, perfect. I was like, it wasn't perfect.
No, yeah.
It wasn't perfect. I want you to know people go rogue, okay? It wasn't
People
perfect.
go rogue, which leads us to, you did say that basically you got a lot of comments from people saying like, oh, wait till you hear what happened at my wedding. And this is like you said people act up at weddings. Like
oh my gosh, the way that that was the thing. I did not see that coming.
Right.
In so many ways, as you know, we all preface this. And so I wish that I had someone, because I would have, if I had known that was going to happen, I would have been all over every single one of those boys being like, if you utter one word of disrespect in front of my family, so help me.
Right.
We don't, as a family, we don't talk like that. I come from a family of girls. Austin wasn't necessarily clutching his pearls because he's been in a football locker room. So maybe the shock wasn't as like crazy for him, but it was pretty crazy for me. And I wish someone had warned me. So when I shared this, people really came out swinging with the craziest ways their family members have acted up. And we're going to share some of them right now.
We'll share some of them, but just so you know, James grew up in crude, like London, where they have really crass humor. And he grew up in rugby locker rooms. He was like, what the fuck was that? Like, he wasn't like, yeah, that's just locker talk. He was like, what the fuck was that? Just so you know.
Thank you.
Just to validate that. Okay, so we got some crazy ones. We'll kind of go through them rapid fire. This person would like to remain anonymous, and they said, I'd like to remain anonymous. At our wedding, during the speeches, we invited guests to share memories of the bride and groom. I'm going to say that was your first mistake. You should never open the floor. I don't think you opened the floor. One of my tipsy bridesmaids took the mic, and to everyone's surprise, including my husband's boss, she shared how she learned to give blowjobs from me, claiming we practiced on bananas and I offered tips from my sister's Cosmopolitan magazine. The funniest part, I don't think I'd even given one at that point. Regardless, it was incredibly embarrassing for me, especially since my husband is quite reserved and he turned bright red. Moral of the story is to not open up the mic at your wedding. Correct.
No,
like that's just crazy.
No, don't give anyone the microphone.
This person said, my bank account got hacked. I completely lost my voice. And I found out 15 minutes before I walked down the aisle that my DJ had double booked and was 2 hours away from my wedding when he tried to keep my security deposit. Oh,
yuck. No. Oh my gosh. Okay. I was a wedding photographer in Nashville and I walked in on the groom blowing the best man 3 hours before the ceremony and had to decide whether or not to tell the bride and ruin her life. Also, yes, I took a photo.
Oh my God.
No, that's worst case scenario.
There needs to be follow-up. Did you tell the bride?
No. What did they
What
get
if the bride
married?
was like, I know.
She's like, whatever.
That is some fucking tea. And you submitted that at 3:45 a.m.
Girl.
That's some fucking tea for 6:40. Oh, sorry, 6:34. And I am dyslexic, clearly. Oh my God.
Oh no.
My mother-in-law wore a literal tiara. No, I'm sorry. Absolutely not.
My husband thought his getting dressed photos meant he needed to be fully nude. So my sweet angel of a photographer walked into a room full of 8 fully naked men standing there. Guess I should have been more clear.
Are we sure that's not the same one where they're giving blowjobs to the best man? Because okay, that is crazy.
What? The photographer's like, wait, you want
wait. No. Oh my God, wait. They're watching too many. Okay, wait, I got one. They're watching too many Get Ready With Me's where the girls like start in their underwear. That's crazy. Dicks out, just all dick. Like that's crazy. Oh my God. Okay. Held our wedding in Cartagena, Colombia. I've been. It's amazing. And when I saw my dad for our first look, which was really emotional and sweet, he had Coke on his face and nose.
No. Dad busted.
Dad. I bet he stayed awake for that whole reception.
I bet he was alert.
I bet he was walked you down. I bet he was marching down that aisle with his Mexican marching powder.
My engagement ring was thrown away accidentally the week before he proposed. He didn't know until 3 hours before the proposal. He had no ring when he got down on one knee. We divorced years later. It's fine. Everything's fine. How do you
it's fine. Everything's fine.
You get down on one knee and just say, no ring here.
The way that was like, some things really are a prerequisite for like how life will turn out. And like the way your wedding was trash, like your marriage was trash. Oh no, that's horrible. I shouldn't say that. But like,
it actually got thrown away.
It got thrown away. That's really tough. Okay. We are rounding out with, well, Anna Grace got sent some funny ones that she's going to read, but the catering staff caught 2 people screwing in the back of the catering trailer. To me, that's just some good, clean wedding fun. Like when you see that kind of stuff happen, you're just like, people are crazy.
Well, one girl wrote me and she's like, hey girl, I'm so sorry. Everyone was actually really nice to me. They're like, I'm really sorry that happened. That's actually traumatic. This isn't as bad, but my sister-in-law did show up in a very like a pale pink, almost white ball gown to my wedding.
Ball gown is crazy.
And then proceeds to do like basically a wedding dress, then proceeds to do a gender reveal at her reception. And the bride was pregnant and they were going to use that moment to share about their pregnancy. And then asked the photographer to like take photos of them. She's like, you know what? While the photographer's here, let's just go ahead and do this all. Like while the family's here.
I cannot explain to you doing stuff for yourself on someone else's big moment. Like when people were like, I asked, they said it was fine.
No,
it's
don't
okay.
ask.
Like,
Let them have their moment.
I've seen some people get proposed to at other people's weddings, and the guys would be like, I asked. Do you know who asked if they could propose at someone's 30th birthday? James. James asked Taylor if he could propose to me in the Hamptons on her 30th birthday. She, of course, was like, yeah. And she maintains to this day that she really wouldn't have cared. He couldn't end up doing it because he didn't get the ring in time. I was like, I would have died if you did that. I would have fucking died. No. Oh my God, no. And he was like, I asked. She said it was fine. And I was like, she's lying. No.
Oh, I know.
And I would have felt so uncomfortable because I would have been like, can I post about my engagement? But it's her birthday. I need to post about her birthday. Oh my God, just don't mix and match celebrations.
Just because people are gathered doesn't mean let's all make it into a spectacle.
Yeah.
And like moral of the story for everyone listening, like speeches, vet them.
Yeah.
Everyone that's going on the mic must be vetted. There needs to be a lot of direction because apparently there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people wrote saying people stood up and like just really it's almost like weird to like let's mortify these people right now.
It's not
like
fun to mortify
not the vibe.
anyone.
Like a wedding, obviously this was my first wedding, so I did not understand the laborious amount of energy that needed to be exerted, and now that I do, I will act differently at every wedding going forward.
Right.
I will RSVP immediately.
Yeah.
I am a changed woman. And obviously, the people there that acted up haven't been married, so
yeah. Well, and we're shocked by that. Really, we are 2 50-year-old men who've never been married. Imagine that. You know, whatever. I can't. I will say this, and we'll leave you with this. I truly believe, to your point, that like people get up there in order to like embarrass someone or mortify them, roast them, whatever you want to call it. I might be alone in this, but I think I'm not alone. I believe that when it comes to anger, sadness, feelings that you aren't fun to feel, anger, sadness, like pain, fear, I actually truly believe that embarrassment is higher than all of those things. Like to me personally, embarrassment, like and shame, like really supersedes those. So on someone's happiest day of their life, to get up and purposefully make someone feel embarrassed or shame, that is really otherworldly to me.
Yeah.
And just it's cruel. It's really fucking cruel. We have somehow talked for an hour, so we're just gonna continue. If you guys have been listening to this FaceTime, we're gonna have to end it here because these cameras are like literally like stop.
We're dying.
And we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
See you next week, guys.
See you next
week. You want to keep talking to me for another hour?
Yay.
Okay.
Boof squad.
Boof squad back again. Love you.
Love
See you next week.
guys.